Hey everybody, it's Mom of Two Wives of One, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I really appreciate it. And if you're a returning person, thank you guys so much for continuously coming to hear me talk about this show. Clicking the like button, clicking the subscribe button, it means the world to me, and I'm extremely grateful for all of you. So you can tell from the title of this video, we are here to discuss Married at First Sight, Season 14, Episode 11. Now, I will say this episode was probably, for me, one of the more boring episodes this season, because I feel like we're seeing pretty much the same issues come up with people, the same issues with communication, the same issues with misunderstandings, just in different settings. So it was just like, oh, okay. It was kind of boring to me, just to me, and maybe not to you guys. Maybe it was like very thrilling and exciting, but I was like, I kind of watched it because I do these videos, but I wasn't as invested this week as I thought I would be. We are at episode 11, which means we're at week 11. So this episode, they're all celebrating their 1 month anniversary, which, yay, good for them. I'm not sure how many more episodes we have left for this season. I know that sometimes the seasons can go between 16 and like 18 or 19 episodes, but it depends. I don't typically count the episodes where they do the recap at 6 months, where they see, where everybody is. I don't watch those episodes at all. So if you're counting those episodes, which I think is only broken up in 2 episodes, maybe looking at about 17, 18 weeks. But I normally stop after decision day. Regardless, we're going to deal with episode 11. So I will say that I think all the couples, well, I was going to say all the couples kind of annoyed me. Noi and Steve didn't really annoy me that much. They're just, we don't see a lot of them, I think, because they are a little on the boring side. It's the same issue over and over and over again. The whole issue about money, and the fact that they are a month into this thing and they haven't, matter of fact, we'll start with them. So Noi and Steve celebrate their 1 month anniversary, and Steve got her some really cute gifts. He got her this like leopard print vest for her dog, got her a leopard print, dress, and he mentioned that he bought a shirt in the same material so that they could do family pictures at some point. I thought that was really cute. And then she bought him this Polaroid camera because he likes taking pictures. They went on a boat ride because apparently she's relatively new to Boston. So it was like a boat tour with sushi, and it was really cute. And she talked about how, I really like you. Things are going well for us. However, we still have to come up with a plan when it comes to money. And that plan needs to happen, or we need to have that discussion before decision day. Because if we don't, I can't leave things just up in the air like that. It's very important. And he mentioned that he tried to have a discussion with her before, but it just didn't happen for whatever reason. And I'm just confused as to how you guys have been together now for 4 straight weeks. You guys have said you love each other, right? You're living together, you're married. And in those 4 weeks, you guys have not found time to sit down to have a discussion about money, especially knowing that there's a really hot button issue for her, and knowing it's very important to him that he doesn't necessarily get a full-time job at this point. I would have thought that you guys would have already had this conversation. And I'm so confused as to why it hasn't happened. And I've been saying before that at the very least, he needs to show her what his savings account looks like, so she can at least have some idea of, oh, okay, well, since you have this much in savings, I think we'll be okay if you don't work for this amount of time. But as far as I can tell, he hasn't done that yet. And so I'm just so confused as to why he hasn't. And even with coming up with a plan, if he says that he does not want a full-time job because he wants time to explore, to grow, to have adventures, all that stuff, I have my own feelings about that. I don't think that's a bad thing, but I feel like that's something, I feel like it's difficult to want to do those things when you are freshly married, because having a life like that is a life for a single person. Or if you're with somebody maybe who's also all about adventure and all about doing new things and finding yourself. I feel like the idea of finding yourself at 37 is like, you should have kind of already done that. And again, even if it takes you a little longer in life to find yourself, and for some people it does, then do that when you're still single. Like, doing that when you're married, I just don't think that's a wise thing to do. Just my personal opinion. But again, he needs to show her his savings account, But then also, if he doesn't want to work full time, and he says that he doesn't mind freelancing or working part-time hours, and in doing that, he still has time to take his pictures, to do all the fun creative things he wants to do. And I think she'd be fine with that, but I don't think he's physically said that to her, that okay, full-time job is not going to work for me. I've been there, done that. It doesn't really suit my purposes anymore, at least not this stage in my life. But I'm willing to get a part-time job to bring in a certain amount of money, and then they can sit down and talk about money. Like, okay, so once the 8 weeks are up, where are we going to live? Are we buying a house? Are we buying an apartment? How much is rent going to be? How much are our combined bills? How much debt do you have? How much debt do you have? Okay, let's figure out how much money we need to make together to figure out what kind of lifestyle we want. I don't think that kind of conversation has taken place just yet. And obviously it needs to. But I think if he comes to her with that, saying that I'm at least going to get a part-time job, because I feel like that's a happy compromise, right? Like if you're actually working part-time, either in the house or out of the house, at least she can see that you are doing something, that you are bringing some kind of money in, especially knowing how she feels about money. I feel like he just needs to give just a little bit. So hopefully that conversation happens sooner rather than later. I don't know why they haven't made time to have that conversation. I don't know if it's because she's afraid of what he's going to say. Like maybe she's afraid that he'll just be adamant that no, I'm never getting a job and he's going to have to deal with it, or, or what. And she could very well fear that conversation. I'm going to assume that's what it is, but hopefully they'll get it together because they are a cute couple. I think that they're compatible. Oh, we also found out this episode that they've had sex. So this is the second couple that has had sex. So I'm pretty sure the two black couples have not. One of them I know for certain has not. The other one actually no, we know for certain that neither of the black couples have. So far 2 out of the 4 remaining couples have consummated their marriage, which is, I don't know, it's just whatever. It's just a tidbit just in case you guys didn't pay attention to that part. But I still think that they'll do okay. I think they'll be okay as a couple. I think they'll make it. They just really, really, really need to have that conversation. And the fact they haven't had it yet is just boggling to me. I don't quite get that. They're probably the most boring couple, I would say. Jasmina and Michael, they had one of the best episodes that they've had in a very, very long time. Michael, they both liked, and I like how they all started the episode talking to their individual friends about their marriage and bringing up concerns and what they've learned and all that stuff. I thought that was very cool. But Michael recreated their wedding day. They talked about how, me and Jasmina always said it's one of the best days we've ever had, and we had so much fun and we really connected and all this other stuff. So he pulled out all the stops. I mean, she woke up to pink rose petals on the floor, a beautiful brunch, for all the couples, because of their 1-month anniversary. All the experts put together a little basket for them that had like their wedding album so they can finally see their wedding pictures for the first time. And they took all of their vows and put them in this really pretty glass case so they could read their vows to each other. And this was a really sweet thing. And what Michael did was he recreated the wedding day. He went back to the actual venue where they got married, and they had a little sweetheart table situation. So they actually had food. They had a first dance. He had them rewrite their vows because he was like, when we wrote our first vows, we were strangers. Now that we know each other and we know the kind of things we need to work on, and we have an idea of what we like or don't like about each other, let's come back to the table with these vows. And I thought that was such an amazing idea. I thought that was super, super sweet. And it just looked like a beautiful day. She was smiling the whole day. She looked really happy. I was like, wow, this is a great day for them. I thought it was so good. And I was so happy because I like Jasmina and Michael a lot. And I'm really happy when I see those glimpses of them laughing together and smiling with each other. Because I feel like we don't get to see that often because they're always having issues with communication. So I was happy that they had at least one episode that just seemed flawless, where things were going really well and they both seemed genuinely, genuinely happy. Now, I will say that I was kind of disappointed that after all of that romantic stuff, all of the beautiful looks and the dancing and the sweetness and the champagne and just all of the really sweet romantic things, that they didn't end the night with a hug, with a kiss. They're still not really physical. Like, obviously Michael held Jasmina while they danced, but there's still not a lot of physical stuff there. They don't hold hands. They're not hugged up on each other. And I thought at the very least when they were in bed about to go to sleep that they would at least given each other a kiss. So I was kind of disappointed by that. And I feel like that's, even though the date was great, the fact that they're still not being intimate with each other, not even just sex, but just some kind of physical intimacy, is a bigger sign that this may not necessarily work out for them. I want it to, but I don't know if it will. Because after all of that, you don't give him a kiss, you really ain't feeling him. You were just like, oh, this was so sweet. I can't believe you did this to me. That was so nice. But not enough to really get your motor running. Because I feel like Michael's at that place where he's not going to overstep his bounds with Jasmina. He's definitely going with her flow. And he is reading her cues and going off of that. So if she made any indication that she'd be open to him kissing her, I think he would have gone for it. But I think at this point in their relationship, he's waiting for her to indicate that she's ready to do some of those things, to kiss, to snuggle, to hold hands, whatever. I don't see him initiating any of that stuff. So I don't really know about them. I really want them to work out. I just don't know if they have that chemistry. I don't know if the chemistry, I think they both want to be married and they both want this specific marriage to work, but I don't know if that chemistry is there. I'm not really feeling it. Let me know if you guys are feeling it, because maybe there's something there that I can't see, but I'm not very hopeful. I'm not very hopeful when it comes to that. For Lindsay and Mark, this was the first time that I really understood what Lindsay was saying to an extent. So Mark started the episode with Mark talking to the camera and telling us that he just got let go from his job. And he's like, I got to tell Lindsay this, I hope she's not mad or angry with me. And, we'll have a discussion about it or whatever. And it brought me back to me, because I've been laid off 3 times. And I want to say out of those 3 times, I was married 2 out of those 3 times. And even the first time when I was married, I was still with my current person. And I remember the trepidation. There's so many emotions you go through when you get laid off. And especially for me, all 3 times I got laid off, I was a mother already. So I felt like a failure. Like, how dare I get laid off and now I can't provide for my child, all of that stuff. And then you start feeling that you're not capable of doing these things. It's just a lot of mental and emotional anguish. And then once you're married, it's like, Dad, you feel guilty because, like, now I'm putting the burden on you to carry all of our bills. That's not something we planned from the beginning. That's not something we discussed from the beginning. We discussed, I'm going to pay these bills, you're going to pay these bills. And now you have to do all of that. And that sucks for you that you have to do that. I didn't want to put you in that position. So now I'm feeling guilty that you're probably going to be struggling and I can't do anything to help until I get another job. So it's a lot of different emotions. So I thought Mark was going through those emotions as well. So when he came home and told Lindsay what was going on, he was like, they said that, whatever the job said. And he's like, so basically I got to get out there and I got to find another job. And she said, well, I would rather you take some time, like take a week to really figure out what kind of job you want. So that way you're not just settling for any job that comes along, but you're actively looking for the job that has the salary that you want, that has better hours, that's going to treat you the way you deserve to be treated, which is a fair thing to say. His response was, okay, I understand that. He's like, but I can't do that. I can't sit around and do nothing. I have to work. And so her response, I thought was a little, she didn't yell, get an attitude, but she was like, you can take that time getting to know me better, working on the marriage. All I'm hearing you say is I, and I'm not feeling anything but us, and I'm feeling really unappreciated. So what I took from that is Mark has stuff going on in his life. He has stuff with the job. He has stuff with the apartment. He constantly has stuff with his mom and his grandma. Lindsay is kind of like me. She's a fixer. She likes to come in and be like, okay, boom, what's the issue? Okay, here's what we can do. Here's some options. Let's figure out what we're going to do. I'm right here with you. I got your back, all that stuff. I understand that sometimes that can be a little overbearing, just in general, and her personality especially can be very overbearing. But I feel like at this point of being married to this woman for 4 weeks, that her intentions are pure when it comes to you. Talking to Mark specifically. I know Mark watches my channel. Everybody watches my channel. Why wouldn't they? So Mark, at this point, you should know that her intentions are pure, that her telling you to take a week to kind of think things through is because she doesn't want you to be stressed. She wants to make sure that the next position you're in is something that you are comfortable with, that works best for you and for your marriage. So I understood her intention completely, and I thought it was a very valid request on her part. Him saying, no, I can't do that, I have to work, I have to do this. I understood her being frustrated with that, right? Because I think that that incident is indicative of all of the examples she tried to give before, but maybe didn't articulate correctly, about how every time I try to help you or offer some advice or offer my comfort or offer my love, my trust, whatever, every time I try to do that for you, you reject it in some way. And she's saying, I'm doing all these things for you because I care about you, and I want you, not necessarily want you to be a better man, but I want you to be happy. I want you to know what it feels like to have somebody that has your back. You have always been that person for everybody in your life, to the point where people, I'm sure, have taken advantage of you. I want you to know that you have at least one person in this world who is there for you specifically. Because you're there for everybody else, you may not get that love and that care that you need. I'm here to give it to you. And she said that from pretty much day one of them being married, that I'm all in, I'm here, I got you, whatever. And so I understood her reaction, that it wasn't specifically about him losing the job. It was about just all the times when she tries to help him and he kind of rejects her in some way, shape, or form, without yelling, without raising his voice. The words that he used to say things to her, she took it as, you're rejecting my help, which means you're rejecting, not rejecting the marriage, but you're rejecting what this marriage could be. Because if you know that this is me, this is part of my DNA to help people, to be there for you, but you're rejecting that part of me, that feels like you're rejecting me as a wife. And then what's the point of us even staying married if you're not willing to let me do this for you? So I understood exactly where she came from. And it was the first time where I was like, okay, Lindsay, okay, I understand. Finally, I understand what she's been saying all this time. And I think he finally is understanding as well, when he, first of all, he went to like a nursery to buy a gift for her because she's very into plants, and he had Chris there with him. I was like, oh, look at Chris, he's back. So I thought that was kind of cool, because I like, Chris is a very calming spirit, and I actually like Chris as a person. So I was glad that we got to see a little glimpse of him. That kind of made me a little happy, like, oh, look at you, Chris. And he was talking about how she likes plants, and I really want to have this whole 1 month celebration to be all about her. I don't want it to be about us. I just want to show her that I like her and I appreciate her. So he took Lindsay camping, and they had like a wood fire grill and the fire pit, and they made pizza from scratch, and it was all great and lovely. And for them, in this little teepee thing, they had a big projector, and they got to watch the video of their wedding. And watching the video really got to Mark, and I'm pretty sure Lindsay didn't expect that to happen, and I didn't either. And I don't know if you guys expected it. But he was like openly, not upset, but crying after watching the video. Not because, oh my gosh, it was so beautiful, but he focused on how happy Lindsay looked, how excited she looked to be married to this person. Even though she just met him, she was so overly excited at the idea of what they could possibly be. She put all her eggs in the basket with the experts. She knew that the experts weren't going to steer her wrong. She went into this with the biggest heart, ready to just give her heart and her love to whoever they matched her up with. And he could see in her face how happy she was. And I think seeing her in the video, seeing how happy she was, and then thinking about the past few weeks and how with every argument they've had, a little bit of her light has kind of gone out. Not saying that she's not still herself, because she is still herself, but when dealing with him specifically, she doesn't smile as much, doesn't laugh as much, she doesn't have as much energy. And I think it was the first time that he got to see that transition, and he knew, wow, that's because of me. Now, not saying that all the issues in their marriage are his alone, definitely not saying that, but I think but it's my first time sympathizing with Lindsay as a person. And I think that it was important that Mark got to see that for himself. Because again, it took me this long to really understand what she was really saying. And so if I didn't understand, that means he wasn't really getting it either. So to physically see him have like an aha moment was like, oh, okay. And and he told her, he's like, I feel so bad that you've been in so much pain for so long, that's been my fault. And I hate that I've done this to you, basically, essentially is what he was saying. And she seemed moved, but she, she's very, Lindsay is very, what's the word? she's very much a show and prove kind of person. Like, okay, I appreciate the fact that you see me. I'm glad that you finally appreciate me and my efforts. But, we'll see. And I was thinking that, Noi and Steve have said they love each other, right? They're the only couple who have said that to each other. And Mark said, it's been 4 weeks, but, I'm not in love with her. So I don't want to get her hopes up that I'm going to say that because, the love just isn't there yet. And I was thinking to myself, would that be a problem for her? Because she doesn't seem, at least from what I can tell, she doesn't seem to be that pressed if he says, I love you or not. She hasn't brought it up at all. So I assume it's not like a big deal to her if he says it. I think she's probably like, he'll say it on his own time. That's whatever. That's the least of my worries at this point. And I was thinking, like, Dag, I wonder if he hasn't said it up to this point, if he doesn't feel it up to this point, then will he ever feel it? And will that be a problem for her? And I think at first I was thinking about how, wow, they've only been together 4 weeks. Like, did I tell people that I love them in a month? But it's like a month. I feel like regular dating, quote unquote, regular dating, a month is not a long period of time because you're not seeing the person every day. You're going out maybe once or twice a week. And, you're still getting to know them, maybe long phone calls, maybe. I'm thinking back in the day. I'm not old, but I missed this whole era of dating through apps. So I don't know how it works now. But back in my day, you meet somebody, talk on the phone a little bit. For me, I'd normally meet somebody out in real life, talk to them maybe for a couple of days, go out, talk some more, go out. But I didn't see them every single day. It just wasn't set up that way. So a month was really only maybe 5 or 6 dates. And it's like, can you fall in love with somebody in 6 dates? But then I had to think about this show and how a month for them is completely different than a month from somebody who's just dating somebody because you are seeing this person every single day. So we're talking a matter of actual 30 solid days. This person has been in your phase. You're sharing a bed with this person and you've met their family. So I keep forgetting how accelerated everything is. So looking at it from that perspective, if you don't feel even a smidgen of love for somebody in 30 days, how possible is it that you're actually going to love them later on down the line? Because 30 days is a long time to consistently be around a person, consistently share this title of, married couple, and consistently sleep next to them every freaking night. So I don't know. I was thinking about that. I don't know how likely it is that Mark is going to grow in love with Lindsay if he hasn't up to this point. I could be wrong. Everybody's wired differently, but this is a revelation I had last night. Like, that's kind of, yeah. So I don't know. They're definitely up in the air. I'm not so anti Lindsay anymore because I never disliked Lindsay as a whole. I just think that for most people, she's a lot to handle. She's a lot to digest in one sitting. And I think that she still has that issue with her mouth. But this was the first episode where I was like, I got you, Lindsay. I understand exactly what you're saying. I feel you. I'm connected with you. I get it. So we'll see with them. I don't have the highest hopes for them, though. I really don't. Especially because I don't think Mark's going to get to that point of loving her. And I feel like she keeps, talking about not being appreciated. And I feel like at some point, she's going to check out completely. And I also think this, him making the comment about, me needing to go back to work and all that stuff. I think part of it is when you are that person that everybody leans on, you are that person that's constantly helping people out, dropping everything to do something with somebody else. When you are that person, it is so incredibly hard to let somebody help you, especially because I'm assuming that if people have helped you in the past, they've done it with an ulterior motive, not just out of pure, I like you, I love you, I want to help you out kind of stuff. So it already makes you wary to allow somebody to help you anyway. So having this quote unquote stranger come in and immediately come on board ready to help you and do whatever needs to be done, that's hard to get adjusted to. But again, it's been 30 days. So after 30 days of her constantly doing this, at some point, give her the benefit of the doubt, until she disappoints you. Hopefully she doesn't. But I would say my advice to Mark, because again, I'm sure he's watching, give Lindsay the benefit of the doubt. I know it's not easy to let the reins go and let somebody help you because I've been there with my husband and it's hard, but I understand that it's about having your own peace of mind. It's about understanding that you cannot do it all alone. Even before Lindsay came into your life, you weren't handling everything on your own. You were still neglecting your own needs because you were helping everybody else. So it's not easy. It definitely takes a lot of retraining your mind, because your mind is telling you, I can do it all. I don't need nobody else. I got this. You have to retrain your mind or rethink your mind or whatever you want to, have you guys want to phrase it. But you have to basically tell yourself, no, it's okay. This person is here for me. It's okay. You can start off by just letting her help with small stuff, and that can lead up to bigger things later on, which is fine. But you need to start getting in the practice of letting some of your stuff go and opening up to her more about what it is you need, because that is really going to help your marriage be a lot stronger. So now let's talk about Katina and Olajuwon. I don't even know where to start. So for their 1 month anniversary, she took them on a gondola ride. That was sweet. That was nice. And they still haven't had sex yet because, she was telling her friend, we're still waiting to have an emotional connection. Like, are you all waiting or is he waiting? I'm pretty sure she's not waiting. And it's just, I'm confused as to how that hasn't happened yet. And I feel like this is another epiphany I had yesterday. When we were introduced to Olajuwon, it was all about his alter ego, Isaac, and how he has been whoring it up, in school while he's in Boston, just been having sex with all these women. And now for the past 2 years, he's been chill because he's ready to get married. He wants that kind of life. But I think because he was like that, it's so sexually free and promiscuous and all that stuff when he was single, now that he's a married person and has wanted to be married for a while, he wants to take a completely different approach. Take sex off the table, focus on my wife, I don't think he's even focused on being the best husband he can be. I really feel like that's not his concern. His concern is like training his wife to be the best wife she can be for him. That's another story. But I think that in having that mindset, the danger of that is that you're married to somebody who is not part of your past. Meaning you want to change your mindset and not immediately rush into sex because, yes, this is new for me and I want to take my time. But you're married to someone who wasn't a part of that life with you. So she's married thinking, wow, I have a husband. I'm going to have sex with my husband and we're going to be intimate. It's going to be great. So, and I've said this before, I don't like the fact that he has made this decision on his own without her input. I just don't think that's fair. My personal opinion. So that already kind of annoys me. But they had fun, their 1 month anniversary hangout or whatever. So all the couples get together because it wouldn't be a Married First Sight episode if we didn't have multiple people together, because why not? One thing that did irritate me is that they had Dr. Pepper talking about that. And she's like, they all have their 1 month. And I think it's great that they all need to come together, lean on each other, and, see where everybody is after a month and, give each other advice. And I was like, skirt. No. The last people that should be giving advice are the people who got married the same day that you did. None of y'all know what y'all doing. So that don't even make no sense, Dr. Pepper. Love you. But that don't make no sense that, we should bring them all together so they can advise each other. No, they don't. Nobody knows what they're doing. Nobody has been married before. They're all trying to figure this out. They are all struggling. So getting them all together, I just thought that's not a valid reason to get them all together. My personal opinion. I was kind of irritated by that comment as well. So they're all sitting around, though, talking about their marriage, talking about what they've learned, where they are, and all that stuff. So Katina says something like, yeah, we're still working on things, but I think we're in a good place. Very basic. Olajuwon, you can already tell, is like, his body language is very irritated, very much, I'm trying to control my temper, I'm really keeping it together. Let me say all the things wrong with this whole thing, right? His thing, he says at the table, like, I'm really not in a good place right now. I'm really questioning if this marriage is real. And, I found out some stuff like right before we sat down that really upset me, but I'm going to talk to you about it later. I'm not going to talk about it here or whatever. And I'm like, that's like those people who are like, man, I got some big news to tell you. I'm going to call you later. So now I'm going to be thinking about the big news for however long until you call me. Why couldn't you wait to call me and then say, oh my gosh, girl, I got some news? It was just a really, I can't even say it was passive aggressive. Like, I don't know what that was. It seemed really childish, really immature, really unnecessary, because now you brought down the whole vibe of the table. You made it really awkward and uncomfortable. And I know how Katina feels, because I know for me, if you come at me like that, A, you coming at me like that in front of everybody. That's first and foremost. B, coming at me but not telling me what you think I did is like, okay, that again, we're not discussing this, or why are you even bringing it up? Makes no sense. C, based off of your body language, I can already tell that you've already made up your minds about what you think I did or did not do. So no matter what I'm going to say later, you've already decided that I'm the villain. You've already decided that I'm wrong in these areas. So even having a conversation is going to be a moot point because you've already vilified me in your mind. So if I feel all those things, I recognize A, B, and C. Now I have an attitude because now you done ruined my dinner. So now I'm pissed at you. And she had every right to be irritated, like, no, because you shouldn't have said anything. Like, why would you say that in front of our friends if you're not going to talk about it? That doesn't make any sense. And even all of them were like, she doesn't know what you're talking about, Olajuwon. I'm like, I know that's something I have to talk about in private, but I don't think you should have brought it up here. Like, they didn't gang up on him, but he was like, no, because I got to be honest. Nobody told you not to be honest, but if you saw something they all took like a van or something to the dinner. If you saw something on the van that irritated you, was to take your wife aside and say, hey, I just saw this thing. Because basically what he saw was a dating app on her phone, if you guys didn't watch the episode. So you could pull her aside, but like, yo, I just saw a dating app on your phone. Like, what's that about? Pull her aside before we get to dinner. Or if you already getting heated in your head, then say, look, I don't think we should do dinner tonight. Let's just kind of beg off. It's like, I just saw this and we need to talk about it now because I'm feeling some type of way. I'm thinking all these things and we just need to have a discussion about it. That's what should have happened, right? Because especially with his reaction, if he felt that strongly about it, then it wouldn't have made sense for him to sit through the entire dinner. Especially because according to them, before that happened at the dinner, he was still kissing all up on her, loving her, acting all lovey-dovey with the PDA. But yet now you're in your feelings. Now that everybody's talking about stuff, now you're kind of remembering. I just thought that was really weird. It was a very cowardly thing to do, very immature thing to do as well. So they get home and he basically is like, you, and again, the way he did it in confronting her, he made it very clear that he already decided that she's in the wrong, has already decided that you're the bad guy in this scenario. You don't really want to be married to me. All of that's already decided. Because he didn't say, he walked through the door, she'd be like, Katina, I saw a dating app on your phone. And it made me upset because as soon as I knew I was getting matched, I took all that stuff off my phone. So the fact that it's still on your phone really makes me mad. Like, how long have you had the app? Like, ask some questions. How long has the app been on your phone? Is it active? It's not active? Okay. He was like, I believe you, but can you show me that's not active? Can you show me on her profile? Like, I'm feeling some type of way or whatever. He was like, show me your phone. Show me your phone. Look, what's that? Dating app. Why do you have that on your phone? Right? No. Yes or no? Do you have it on your phone? Yes. Okay. See, that's because you didn't. It's like, no. That's not the way you have a conversation with someone. Because again, he wasn't talking to her with the intention of getting answers from her and getting clarification about the situation. He talked to her with the intention of letting her know, I know you shady. I know you foul. I know you ain't trying to be in this marriage. You ain't taking it seriously. I don't appreciate it. Forget it. If you had all that in your mind, then what's the point of even discussing it then? Because we're not discussing it. You just want to take the time to yell at me. And that's one thing. Every marriage is different. But my husband knows one thing I will not tolerate is you raising your voice to me. That's just not going to work. And in his family, that's the way they talk. They get really hyped up and their voices get loud. That's fine with your family. You can't bring that over here. Because when somebody raises their voice at me, I feel like you're talking to me now like I'm your child, and I'm not comfortable with that. Don't like it. I'm not going to tolerate it. As soon as you do that, I immediately shut down. I'm like, okay, well, this conversation is over because I'm not doing this with you. And she's the same way. Like, nobody wants to be yelled at by their spouse, especially when that spouse is not giving you the chance to explain yourself. She said that app has been on my phone for a couple years. I forgot that I had it. I don't even have a profile. I think it's a valid explanation. I'm not mad at it. And she could have easily opened it up and shown them, like, look, see, it says last time logged in was in 2018. That's proof that I had not been on this thing. I just forgot that it was here. But look, I'll take it off right now. Not a big deal. But he didn't give her that space to really do any of that. And Olajuwon he's just immature. Immature. He's not ready to be anybody's husband. And he shouldn't be anybody's husband. And that's pretty much it. I don't know where they're going to go from here. I think that he wants to be married, and I think that she wants to be married. I think that he is not mentally ready to be married. He needs to really figure out what it is he wants and really dig deep as to figure out why he wants what he wants. And also figure out what kind of husband he wants to be. I feel like he hasn't taken enough time to really think about that at all. So I don't know if they're going to make it. I think if they do say yes on decision day, I don't think they're going to make it to the 6-month mark at all. I don't think they'll make it long term. I think she's been patient up to this point, but at some point that patience will run out. So that's my take on it. What do you guys think? Who do you think is really going to survive the long haul marriage? Like, who do you really think? Who made you mad this episode? Were you bored by some person's episode like I was? It could have just been me. Maybe I was tired, but I was like, I guess. But make sure you like this video, share the video, subscribe, click the little notification bell, do all those wonderful things. Talk to me in the comments. I love hearing you guys' input on the couples and the show as a whole. It's so entertaining for me, and it just makes my heart nice and warm when you guys comment. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace.